we watched Asterix and Obelix. The big
Asterix and Obelix, the big
Asterix and Obelix. Yes, it's now I have never heard of this series before, so this was all new to me.
I'm somewhat familiar. Where I got introduced to it is that in my high school, if you were taking a European language class, there were at least a few translated Asterix and Obelix comics sitting in the background or in the back of the room. It's
okay.
like I read a couple of these in German because that was the high school language I took. Since then, I've seen a couple of the animated movies. Like a buddy said, "Hey, I used to watch these when I was a kid. Let's give this a go." And they were just kind of goofy fun, and goofy fun is basically the brand here. I would say tonally, it's like One Piece if it took itself less seriously.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a goofy fun. Yeah.
Yep. And it's based on a French comic series that's been running since the late 50s. Well, October 1959. Basically a 60s book, but
Yeah.
technicalities. And it's about a pair of Gallic heroes who are so powerful that not only could they resist the Roman Empire, they could also make a Netflix original that's worth watching.
Yeah. Who'd have thunk it? Hey, Arcos, good to see you. Yeah, it is. It definitely has a DreamWorks feel to it with the animation style.
Yeah, and also I was looking this up. It is the top or is the second best-selling comic series in history, only behind One Piece.
Which is kind of hard to believe.
It's basically like soccer or cricket to us Americans. You kind of have to have an in to actually know what the hell it is.
Yes. But yeah, so the series, as DB points out, it follows this Gallic village, which for those of you who might not be students of history, or students of history. So this takes place. It starts off in 78 BC, and then it jumps forward to 50 BC. And it's about this Gallic village called was it Indomitable?
I think they were just I don't know if the name of the village was Indomitable. I think they were called Indomitable because they are holding out against the Romans.
Okay, yeah, and they're the last village in Gaul, which for those of you who aren't familiar, Gaul is France.
Right. And Julius Caesar, part of the reason he got powerful enough to become emperor, or at least to be imperator for life, or whatever his title was, I forget off the top of my head, is because he went in and brought the Gauls to heel after years of fights between them.
Yes, and of course, the reason that this one particular village is able to hold off against the Romans is because they all drink this magic potion that makes them really strong.
Yep. And the movie does a very good job of, I keep wanting to call it a movie. It's technically a miniseries.
Yeah.
But it is, you could basically, with no effort whatsoever, cut this to a single theatrical movie.
Yeah. Actually, I think if you take if you add the run times of every episode, like minus the credits, I think it comes out to somewhere around 2 hours. So.
Well, let's see. I think the episodes were with the. Let me pull this up. I think with the credits, the episodes were clocking in at like 37 minutes. But because this is such a big brand and Netflix makes dubs for all of their territories, the credits for each episode were kind of nuts. Like 10 minutes a piece.
Yeah, so I want to say
like 35-ish minutes a piece.
Yeah. And then I think the second one, the last episode was like 45 minutes.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, they could have easily, yeah, it made it into a movie.
Yeah. So I don't know why this was chopped into bits. I don't know if that helps the retention. I don't know if this started life as a movie and it got turned into a TV series. But that's neither here nor there. So
Yeah.
if I slip up and call this a movie, it's because to me it is a movie.
Yeah. What you could well we watched it in one sitting, so that's kind of why it feels like a movie. But yeah, so our titular heroes, Asterisk and Obelisk, they've been friends since they were little kids, and of course, Asterisk is always bailing out Obelisk because Obelisk is just a little slow. He's not entirely stupid, but he doesn't really do things very well, and we learned very early on when they were kids. He has a dreadful fear of public speaking.
Yes. Always passes out.
Yeah.
And what's also, so we'll say it's a classic, it's almost Dragon Ballian style thing where you have like it's very Looney Tunes to have like the small confident character and the big oafish character as the comedy duo.
Yeah. It's that of mice and men kind of dynamic.
Yeah. That everyone's been ripping off ever since.
Yeah.
So Asterix is. See, by the way, I find Asterix hard to say. So if we switch between, apologies, we'll be misnaming them probably pretty often through this, just to not have to stop and think every sentence.
Right. Yeah.
So the movie opens up. The Romans are attacking again, and you get a really awesome fight sequence with the whole village taking draughts of this magic potion and just laying waste to them in cartoony way. Of course, like nobody's actually dies in this movie. It's just like slapstick fun.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And I was a little surprised that the whole series wasn't like that, because I thought we were going to get another scene like that, and we really didn't.
Yeah, not really till the last episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so that was probably the best animation in the whole thing. There were a lot of other cool moments.
Yeah.
Also, it's a very jokey movie. Like it does have some stakes, and it does a pretty good job of not having too much bathos, aka improper humor in the wrong moments.
Yes. Yeah. Unlike many newer Marvel movies,
or a lot of kids movies for that matter.
Yeah.
Like in terms of animation quality, I'd say I would put this around the quality of like Illumination movies I've seen recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like it isn't quite, and I would say while it might be technically inferior, the art style borrowed from the comic and just the overall direction of it makes it so much better than some DreamWorks stuff like Ruby Gillman, which probably had a much larger budget, but it was not applied properly.
No, it was not. Oh God, oh man, that movie was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so so what happens is you also have another character, a druid named Getafix, and he's the one who's creating this magic potion, and he's trying everything he can to make this potion. And
we're back to the flashback to when they were kids,
right? Yeah.
They're being bullied by the son of a chieftain from a neighboring village.
Cassius Ceramics.
Cassius Ceramics, right? Yeah, because glass jaw, I'm guessing, because he's just a huge bully who can only pick on people weaker than himself.
Yeah,
but like he bullies them into getting something from Getafix's shed, and in the process, Obelix accidentally, he doesn't accidentally add more stuff to the potion. He very intentionally does it because he thinks the potion is kind of bland.
Yeah. He throws a bowl of strawberries and what he thinks is a giant prawn, but is actually a lobster.
Yep. And Then when Getafix comes back, they have to hide, and in the process, Obelix falls into the potion. Now, one thing I will say now I'm not even going to pretend I'm a lifelong Obelix fan, but in every Asterix and Obelix thing I've ever seen, they always implied that he had fallen in when he was a baby, but he was like around 8 or 9 there. In fact, even in the movie, the dialogue was unchanged for, fell into the potion when he was a baby.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And he uses his newly enhanced strength to fight off the bully, Cassius. So he turned out that he just permanently has super strength, where the other Gauls only have it temporarily when they can get a dose of this magic potion. But hey, the Romans will never be able to fight them as long as they have access to the magic potion. And then Obelix tosses one of his trademark. He makes these big stones that like menhirs, was it? Or
yeah,
menhirs.
Menhirs, yeah. I kept hearing veneers, but like teeth, but no, it's menhirs. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I think it was like a sacred stone to the Goths, is my best guess.
Yeah.
But he tosses it to try to get some Romans who are trying to capture Getafix, and hits him, and he is amnesiac, and he could probably make it in the Senate, but not in not in everyday life.
Yeah. Yes, and so then we cut to the Romans, and there's a new character which I guess they brought in just for this series.
I cannot discount the possibility that she was introduced in some of the comics, because they are still coming out with comics periodically.
Okay. But there's a girl in there her name's Metadata, and she has a plan, and takes it to Julius Caesar and says, well, in Gaul they have this what do you call it, a law,
this law, this tradition,
that when a chief of one village challenges another chief to a fight, and if that chief wins, then they take over the village. So they get
they get the bully, who is now the chief of his own turncoat Gallo-Roman village.
Yes, to challenge the chief of the Indomitables, which is, what was it, in Vital Statistics?
Yes. By the way, all the characters have very silly names.
Yeah.
Metadata is kind of there are 2 characters in this movie who are kind of unnecessary. One is in their quest to try and fix Getafix, they go to this woman, this apothecary, who is a goth. She has a German accent, and she's dressed like a modern goth.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she ends up being kind of a waste of potential.
Yeah, there's only one. The best part of there is this whole bit where she's kind of acting like a couples therapist for Asterix and Obelix. When they're in there, they're just like they're like complaining about each other like a married couple.
But like, she doesn't ruin the movie. It's just kind of a waste of character design and potential.
Yeah.
Metadata. Okay, so there's a dragon that every Netflix original must slay, and that is whatever tokenized requirements, or whatever. I'm trying to say, like, whatever. I don't want to say a 3-letter acronym that's been overused lately, but I don't want to say a 4-letter word that was overused 2 years ago.
Yes.
Politically correct. The token. What's the term for like having a? Anyway, she's kind of the modern audience insert character, because she's cool with this plan to get the last Gaulish village into the Roman Empire, but she is not very Roman. She's kind of a Gallaboo.
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't wear a toga. She wears like more modern clothing.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's very concerned about how many trees they're cutting down to make this place where they're going to have the fight.
Yeah.
Like she is basically the modern audience character.
Yes.
And fortunately, this movie managed to slay that dragon because while she isn't terribly funny on her own, as these characters never or very rarely are, she does not. She does not drag things down too badly because she acts as a bit of a straight man for some of the other humorous characters like POTUS, this tubby legionnaire who is like the face of the Roman grunts, who's always around, and that guy suffers so much in this movie.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah, and then also her uncle, Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I would love to know what his French name was because I'm guessing that most of these have a sillier French pun involved with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so not to go, I don't think we need to go blow by blow with the rest of the movie, but
No.
What I will say is that it is very good at setup and payoff. Things that I wasn't expecting it to bring up again were actually vital to the story.
Yeah.
I don't know, and again, there have been like 60 of these graphic novels now. So the handful of things I've read, they never had a real risk of the Romans getting their hands on the potion. And so seeing that as a plot point was actually very bold and interesting.
Yeah.
Also, when you have characters who are invincible, as long as most of them can have access to the potion, one of the better things you can do to create some tension is remove the potion and see what happens.
Yeah, which they do.
Nothing good.
Nothing
good.
Yeah.
I think my only complaint about it is there was a bit of modern writing in it, in the sense of like jokes where the joke was that characters were going on for too long about something.
Yeah. And they also used a lot of modern music too, like a lot of pop songs.
Yeah, the only time I thought it was actually appropriate was they had this one, like it was the 70 BC. It's like, well, it was the 70s, and so they start playing a 70s pop song. That was a pretty good joke, but
yeah.
I think I would have rather had some original music instead.
Yeah.
But it does make it feel very much like a modern CGI movie.
Yeah. There was one joke that I kind of liked where they were talking about the way that time was kept. Like, well, it's 50 BC, and then one of the characters like, before who?
Well, and they had another bit where I think, well, I think we have too many gods. What if we narrowed it down?
Yeah.
Like, there's just a lot of little humor here, and I could actually see this stoking an interest in classical history in a kid who watched it.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's you actually you could probably show this to like elementary school or middle school kids in like a history class.
Yeah, like there really isn't, like, of course not as like main learning, but
Right.
You know how every school right before Christmas break or summer break, they go, okay, you're not going to learn anything anyway because you're too excited. Let's put on a movie that's at least somewhat educational.
Yes. And we'll get the Domino's or Pizza Hut for you.
Yep. But I think that I enjoyed myself more than I was thinking I might. I was ready for it to be another modern Netflix production, and it really exceeded my expectations there. Actually, that's 2 weeks in a row. And you know what the unfortunate, sad fact of it is?
What?
Neither was made in America.
Oh, that's true. Oh. Well, I guess that must be the key to Netflix originals. Just don't watch one that's made in America.
And I hate that that's actually fairly accurate.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, I enjoyed the show. Yeah, it's fun. You know, I hope they do a season 2. They said it was a limited series, but I don't know. Maybe they might do a sequel to it.
Yeah, I don't know how successful it was, but it deserves to be watched.
Yes.